Okay, today I'm going to discuss like how to find the coordinates in the geometric coordinate chapter for MF. Alright, so yeah, this video is made for the MF student. Yeah, because in most of the question in MF, they will ask you to find the coordinate and then they'll ask you to find the area. So if you can't find the coordinate, there's no way you can find the area. But then in MF, uh, for what I know so far, you have three different methods to find the coordinate. But the first and second is actually you will use it more often compared to the third one. So I will introduce the three methods here. So the first one is the very common and very useful method to actually help you to find the coordinates. I'm going to call it the midpoint methods. Midpoint method means you are going to use the midpoint to actually find the coordinates. So for example, most of the time you will use midpoint in this kind of scenario. Normally it's rectangle. Yeah, you can use the midpoint to find, or sometimes it will be square, or sometimes it will be rhombus, or yeah, sometimes they will give you parallelogram. Okay, in all these cases, you have to understand, yeah, both of them, their diagonal actually will share the same midpoint. So for example, yeah, for example, if I have a rectangle, uh okay, if I have a rectangle, just assume this is rectangle, and then you have to understand this is my diagonal. Okay, in math we call this one is diagonal. All right, means, okay, whenever the vertex to connect to another vertex, we call it diagonal, and normally they will cut the shape into the half, we call it diagonal. So you will find out that both of the diagonal, they will meet at one point, and this point is the midpoint. Let's say I'm going to label the rectangle. I call it A, B, C, D. So for the rectangle itself, you have to understand something like the midpoint of AC. The midpoint of AC will be the midpoint of BD. So in order to use the midpoint formula, you must be able to write something like the midpoint of AC will equals to the midpoint of BD. Okay, and this kind of case, I mean this kind of situation, it happened in all four of these shape. Alright, even we have rhombus, sometimes it might look like it's actually the same, but it is the same. For example, okay, I'm going to sketch a rhombus out here. Let's say I have a rhombus. Oops. Yeah, as for example, I have a rhombus here. Okay, whenever we call rhombus, mean this line is parallel to this line, and this line is parallel to this line, and all of the four sides have the same length. Alright, sama panjang. Alright, so okay, if this is rhombus, so what we understand is, let's say I call it A, B, C, D. So the midpoint of AC will be same with the midpoint of BD. So let's say this is the midpoint of AC. So it will be the same with the midpoint of BD. So you can just use the midpoint formula and then you do the comparing lah. So it's something like midpoint formula. I hope you understand. Like something like x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2. Then here maybe is equals to A and B. Alright, so you just say this one equals to A, and then this one equals to B. Alright, so this is the midpoint method, and I will find this method is the most easiest way to find the coordinate, okay, compared to another two. So most of the time, if the question asks you to find the coordinate, okay, you must always think, can I use the midpoint method? Of course, the question must, you must have the information like they have the same midpoint, or actually they give you 2 points and then they ask you to find the third point. Alright, yeah, I will explain this one more later. Alright, so what is the second method? Okay, the second method is happen a lot. It's happened a lot in most of the past year question. Yeah, the second method I going to call it simultaneous equation. Simultaneous equation. It's okay means in order to find the coordinate, as long as you have two equation, then you just substitute the first equation into the second equation, you can easily get the coordinate. So for example, if I have the equation like equation AB equals to something like maybe y equals to negative 2x plus 12, and then I have the equation BC equals to y equals to 2x. So if I substitute equation AB into the equation BC, what coordinate can I find? So you have to understand if this is AB and if this one okay, and okay, if this is AB and let's say this is BC, so AB and BC, obviously they will intersect at the coordinate of B, correct or not? AB and BC, they will intersect at coordinate of B. So if you substitute equation of AB into the equation of BC, basically you are finding the coordinate B. So if you do not have the diagram, so how can I know that? So you just see AB and BC, both of them will have the common letter. Oops, my God. I mean, both of them will have the common letter B. So that means if I substitute the coordinate, if I substitute the equation AB into the equation BC, I actually can easily get the coordinate of B. So how do I get it? Okay, so I'm going to show you some example here. Maybe I change some other color. Okay, so for example, so I call this one is first equation, second equation. Then I substitute first equation into the second equation. So what I will get here will be negative 2x plus 12 will equals to 2x. Mean I substitute y into the y. So I just solve this one. Negative 2x move to this side, become 4x equal to 12. Then x I will get 3. Then I can substitute 3 into either one of the equation. Obviously I substitute into the 2 is easier. Then I sub into number second one. So I get y equals to 2, 3. My y actually equals to 6. So therefore, I can easily get my coordinate B equals to 3 and 6. Alright, so whenever you need to find the coordinates, okay, you just need to understand the second method. Means you have to, if you want to find the coordinate B, you have to have the equation of AB and the equation of BC. Or it can be something like equation of BD and equation of BC. As long as they have the same letter, means you substitute into each other, you can find the coordinate B. Alright, this simultaneous equation method, I will say this is also very famous, but then it's not as simple as the midpoint method. Alright, and then the last one actually is the I would say the least favorite one, which is the using the distance formula. Alright, so maybe I erase this one. I will need some space for explain about distance. Okay, distance I'm not going to give you the example, but then I will show you the concept. Okay, so I will say the third method, maybe, okay, I will say the third method is the distance method. So you can also use the distance to actually find the coordinate. But how it works is because distance, okay, so let me explain about distance formula a little bit first. Distance formula basically is square root of x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. Right, this is a distance formula. But how do we actually use the distance methods to find the coordinate? Okay, the idea basically is like this. Okay, let's say this is the coordinate A. And then okay, and then I will know, yeah, let's say I know actually coordinate B is actually like 5 units from A, like of, yeah, 5 unit from A. So what I will do here is, okay, if this is 5, but then if I use a distance formula, because distance formula itself have no direction at all. But something I know is the distance is equals to 5. So if I substitute distance equals to 5, what I will get is, I will actually get the locus. Means I will get the something like circumference, but I will call it locus of 5. That means what? Means B can be anywhere of the locus here, as long as they are 5 unit. So that means B can be here, B can be here, B can be anywhere in the locus. So yeah, so sometimes you might get 2B. You might get 2 values of B. Why you get 2 values of B? So for example, if the straight line is passing through like this, so if the straight line equation is passing through like this, if you substitute the distance equation into the straight line equation, then you will get 2 values of B. So yeah, so this one, yeah, distance method is very complicated if compared to the simultaneous equation or midpoint method. But you can use it to find, because sometimes you only have the distance information, so you can only use the distance methods to find. But most of the time, I mean in SPM or O level, yeah, when you use distance formula, yeah, you might only get 1 point. Means the equation maybe is only passing through 1 point here. So it means if you substitute the B, if you substitute the distance equation into the linear equation, yeah, you will only get 1 coordinate, like coordinate B in this case. Alright, yeah, the distance method is a bit complicated. So I will use one example to actually explain the tree method, and then yeah, I hope that example can actually help you to understand it better. So yeah, just let me erase everything. Okay, so I'm going to erase everything, and then I'll give you the example shortly. Okay, so for example, okay, so let's say example, if I have a rectangle, okay, of course the example I use is quite complicated, but I hope it actually can help you understand a bit. So let's say I have something look like this. Okay, this is rectangle, obviously. And then my x-axis is here, my y-axis over there, and then I randomly give you I will give you 2 coordinates. A equals to -2, 5. Maybe B equals to 7, 2. And C and D I do not know. Alright, and then the question actually to ask you to find C and D, and then the question tell you A, B, C, D is a rectangle. So assume this is rectangle, mean 4 sides is 90 degrees, this rectangle. So from here, okay, before I start to find the coordinate C or coordinate D, I will try to get as many information as possible for this kind of question. So the first information I understand is D actually lie on the y-axis. It lie on the y-axis, at least I have some information, because lie on the y-axis means x equals 0. So I'm going to call this one is 0, y. And for C itself, I totally have no information. I'm going to call it x and y. Maybe I can use like different color for x and y. Yeah, maybe I use I use this one, x and y. I mean they are different coordinates. Alright, so for this kind of question, the first thing is, yeah, when you have two coordinates is unknown, the first thing is you have to find one out first, because if 2 coordinate you also do not know, it's very hard to solve this kind of question. So obviously I will find the D first. So you want to find this coordinate is very easy. I know if I can find the equation of AD, I just substitute the 0 into the equation of AD, then I can easily get the y, because D, coordinate D is lying on the equation of AD. So now my first objective is to find equation of AD. But I have some problem here is I do not have the gradient. okay, most of the time if you want to find equation, we must have two information. The first information we need to have is we need to have the gradient. Alright, and we will need to have 1 point on the line. So we have 1 point on the line already, which is A, but we do not have the gradient of AD. But then we know that actually gradient of AD is 90 degrees, or we call it perpendicular to AB. So I'm going to find the gradient of AB first. So gradient of AB is very easy. I use 5 minus 2 over negative 2 minus 7. Y1 minus Y2 over x1 minus x2. So this one is 3 over negative 9. I'm going to call it negative 1 over 3. So if I can get the gradient of AB, I know I can get the gradient of AD also, because gradient of AD multiple gradient of AB, I should get negative 1 if they are perpendicular. Alright, so I would say this gradient of AD multiple negative 1 over 3 equals to negative 1. So gradient of AD is obviously is equals to 3. So if I have the gradient already, so the gradient is equals to 3. I have the coordinate, which is the point, is negative 2 and 5. Then I can get the equation easily. I can get the equation easily. I using the y minus y1. My y1 over here with 5 equals to gradient is 3x minus x1, negative 2. Minus negative 2 is plus 2. Alright, basically I'm using this formula, y minus y1 equals to mx minus x1. Alright, so I just solve this one, I can get the equation of AD. Alright, so I got y minus 5 equals to 3x plus 6. So y equals to 3x plus 11. So if I get a y equals to 3x plus 11, then I can easily find the coordinate of D, because what? D is my y-intercept. Y-intercept will be 11, right? So obviously the y over here will be 11. So yeah, what I know is the y over here will be 11. So yeah, I just use back the same color, maybe 11. Alright, you might not see the y-intercept. Okay, if you do not see the y-intercept, so what you can do over here is you just substitute x equal to 0 into this equation. You just imagine when x equals to 0, so y equals to 3, 0 plus 11. So y is still equals to 11. So therefore, you can say you know the coordinate D equals to 0, 11, which I already label here. Okay. So this is how to find the coordinate D. But then in this video, I'm not like I shouldn't too focus on finding the coordinate D. This is how I show you. If you have two coordinate, you do not know what you can do. Okay. So from here, I'm showing you the different methods on finding the coordinate C. Because coordinate C is quite hard to find for most of students. So what I will do over here is, so first one, I will try the midpoint methods. Alright, so the midpoint methods. So because this is rectangle, so what I understand over here is the midpoint of AC will be same with the midpoint of BD. They will have the same midpoint. Alright, so if they have the same midpoint, then what I can do is something like this. Of course, I write down midpoint of AC is equals to midpoint of BC. BD, I mean. Alright, so yeah, I just do the midpoint thingy. Okay, so I hope you at least you know how to do the midpoint. So the midpoint basically is, okay, for AC, negative 2 plus x. So be negative 2 plus x over 2. Then 5 plus y over 2. Okay, then will equals to, okay, this one, because let was space, so I will do it mentally. 0 plus 7 divided by 2. 0 plus 7, I get 7. So I call 7 over 2. Alright, this one, 11 plus 2 is 13. Alright, so I call 13 over 2. Alright, then what you can do over here is your x will same with your x. and then your y will same with your y. Alright, so of course I will do the x first to actually help me to find the value. So I can say this is -2 plus x over 2 equals to 7 over 2. Then both bottom is 2, you can cancel it. So x will equals to -2 move together plus 2 will be 9. Alright, then I can do y. So y, I can say 5 plus y over 2 equals to 13 over 2. You can ignore the 2. Then y will equals to 13 minus 5, which is 8. So therefore, I can easily get the coordinate C, which is 9, 8. Alright, or yeah, I can use back the same color maybe. Yeah. So coordinate C will be 9 and 8. Alright, this is using the midpoint methods. But how about if I use the equation methods? Okay, so yeah, before you forget, this equation just now we get is y equals to 3x plus 11. Alright, this is equation of AD. Alright, if I want to use the equation method, so what I have to do here is, in order to find coordinate C, over here, I will need to understand is, I must have the equation of CD and I must have the equation of BC. Because if I substitute equation of BC into an equation of CD, I can easily get C. Alright, so now these two will be your objective if you want to use the equation method. Alright, so okay, I can easily get the equation of CD because what? Because just now I already like find the gradient for AB. Still remember, gradient of AB is actually -1 over 3. So because they are rectangle, so both of them will have the same gradient. So gradient over here will be -1 over 3 also. I say in order to form the equation, you will need gradient and 1 point on the line. So CD, I have coordinate D, and the gradient is -1 over 3. So for CD, I will do y equals to mx plus c, and I have both. I have m is 1 over 3, and I have c, which is y-intercept for this line is 11. Now I have the equation of CD, and I will need to find the equation for BC. So for equation of BC, so what I can do is, I know they have the same gradient as well. Then for the equation AD, the gradient is 3. So I know for CB, gradient is 3 as well. Then over here, we will need one gradient and 1 point. So from here, you can easily understand how am I going to find the equation. So I'm going to use y minus y1 equals to mx minus x1 to form the equation. So this is my x1 and this is my y1. So I will say y minus 2 equals to m, which is 3, alright, x minus 7. Then I'm going to solve this one. So I will get y minus 2 equals to 3x minus 21. So y equals to 3x minus 19. I move the -2 become +2. Then I will have this equation and a second equation. Then what I will do is I will sub 1 into 2. And then I'm going to solve it, like, yeah, see whether I can get 9/8 or not. So substitute 1 will be -1 over 3x plus 11 equals to 3x minus 19. I'm going to solve it very fast because do not waste time here. So 11 plus 19, I get 30. This one move over here is plus, you can use calculator, should be 10 over 3x. 0 and 0 I cut, x equals to 9. Then I substitute back into, the second one. So yeah, so y equals to 3, 9 minus 19 will be 27 minus 19, which is 8. So therefore, at the end, I can get the same coordinate, which is 9 and 8. See, both also will give you the coordinates. Right, Last but not least, of course, is the distant one. But distant one, I will say is the least favorite from me because it's you will need to do a lot. So I'm not going to like show you all the working for distant because this video is already quite long. But maybe, yes, I can show you the idea. Okay, before I forget, so let me write down. C first is 9, 8. See whether, so for the distant one, you can try to do it yourself. Okay, so for distant one, you can either use the distance of CD or distance of BC. Because this is rectangle, right? I have the coordinate B. So as long as if I can find the distance of AD, I know BC will be same distance with AD. So okay, from here, okay, I choose one. Let's say I choose AD. So I'm going to find the distance of AD. So what I do over here is I use a distance formula. Okay, so the distance formula over here is something like x minus x1 will be plus 2 square, and then plus y minus y1. So 11 minus 5 will be 6 square. Or you can write 11 minus 5 square. It's the same thing. So over here, I can get square root 40. So if I know the distance of AD is square root 40, so what I will do over here is I know the distance for BC is square root 40 also. But then I say if I substitute this one into the equation, what I guess is I'm getting locus. And the distance from B is always square root 40. Mean the distance over here is always square root 40. So definitely from B to C is square root 40 also. Alright, so in order to get the coordinate of C, I will need to substitute one equation which is passing through the C. So therefore, you will need to use the distance formula, substitute the B over here equals to square root 40, and then you will need to substitute the equation of CD into the distance equation. So it will be a lot of work, but then, okay, let's try it out. Okay, before I forget, what is our equation of CD just now? Yeah, maybe you can scroll back the video to see the equation of CD, but I just solve it quickly. Yeah, should be y equals to negative 1 over 3x plus 11. This equation of CD. We're going to use it later. So over here, I'm going to use the B into the distance formula because I know BC will be square root 40 also because BC will same as AD, which is square root 40. So what I will do over here, I'm going to say BC equals square root 40, right? So BC equals to square root 40. Then I use the space here. So BC means I need to form the equation, distance formula using the BC. So I'm going to say x minus x. So it will be x minus 7 square plus y minus 2 square. Okay, y minus 2 square equals to square root 40. Alright, you just need to solve this equation. Then you substitute equation CD into here, then you can get the same answer. So obviously if like square root and square root, you can cancel out. Alright, then you expand this one. You will expand x squared minus 14x plus 49 plus y squared minus 4y, and then plus 4 equals to 40. And then you will need to solve this equation. This is x squared plus y squared minus 14x minus 4y, and then 49 left 9 plus this one plus 13 equals to 0. Then I'm going to call this one equation 3. This is equation 4 maybe. So then what you will need to do next is you will need to substitute the equation 3. You're going to substitute equation 3 into the equation 4. So if you substitute, mean you substitute the y into all the y here, then you will get x equals to 9 because I already tried it out. And then after that, you just substitute 9 back into here, then you will get y equals to 8. So at the end, you will still get coordinate C equals to 9, 8. Yeah, but then distant one, you have a lot of work to do because, well, you substitute y into here, you have the square here. So if you have the square here, you need to expand again. And then this one, you substitute in, yeah, you need to expand again and then simplify. yeah, then only you can get the answer. So compare the three different methods of here, you will actually find the distant one, no, is the most difficult one, and the midpoint one is the most easier one. But then most of the time, yeah, you can use the equation one. It's fine also if you like, you can find the equation very fast. Right? Yeah. I'm so sorry about so messy about the diagram and everything, but I hope, yeah, this video actually can give you some understanding about how to find the coordinate. So whenever in the exam the question asks you to find the coordinate A, B, C, or D, what you can think is, you first use the midpoint to find, or you will need to have two equation. You will need to have two equation which passing through the point, or you can use the distance to find. But yes, in the exam, please do not choose the distance unless you have no other information. Alright, yeah, try to use midpoint or use the equation method. Alright, I hope you find this video useful. Yeah, thanks for your time. Bye.